Hey guys! It's time for another top 5 list. This one will be focused on fantasy movies. Fantasy movies will usually involve or take place in a fantasy world, usually containing things like magic, supernatural events, mythology and so on. So now let's get on with the list, starting with number 5. The Kid Who Would Be King. This movie came out in 2019 and I just love the idea of this movie. So a boy finds the sword of King Arthur, which awakens an evil sorceress who sends her demons after the sword. The boy along with other people have to now go on a quest while fighting off demons. Eventually they fight the sorceress. It later turns out that she is only wounded and she then unleashes a final attack. The boy's entire school then had to fight the demons and the sorceress, and it's such an intense scene. I especially love the combination of a medieval battle and modern technology, it's so creative. I love that this movie takes historical medieval events and puts a modern twist on it. Overall, I think this movie is just exciting. Number 4. Christopher Robin. Of all the more recent fantasy films, this one is my favorite. It's basically about Christopher Robin's life as an adult. This movie definitely gave me feelings of nostalgia. I did watch Winnie the Pooh in my childhood after all. I always loved the characters in that show, so it was nice to see them again after so long. The movie was also beautiful and touching in my opinion. Number 3. Bridge to Terabithia. It's been so long since I last saw this movie. I only ever saw it when it came out back in 2007. I really enjoyed the movie back when I watched it. I loved the friendship between Jess and Leslie. I think it's a well-developed friendship in my opinion. The world of Terabithia is definitely pretty imaginative. I like plots about people having a creative imagination overall. Number 2. Harry Potter series. Oh yes, this is on the list. I love the Harry Potter series. I was 7 years old when the first movie came out and I loved that first movie a lot. My favorite scene was when Harry fights Voldemort. The way Harry defeats Voldemort with his bare hands is so satisfying. I love this movie series because it's very exciting to me. I love shows and movies that involve magic. They tend to get creative, which I'm all for. I also love the characters in the movies. They were portrayed really well. I admit that the two Dumbledore actors didn't look exactly alike, but it never really bothered me personally. What else can you do when an actor dies while a series is ongoing? Anyway, my favorite Harry Potter movie would be The Goblet of Fire. I just love the Triwizard Tournament. It's what makes the movie really exciting. Harry Potter wasn't old enough to participate, but yet he got in and I think he did well in each of the events. It's fun to watch Harry overcome the challenges. Harry Potter is my favorite of all the big fantasy film series. Before I get to number 1, I do have some honorary mentions, starting with The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. It is a movie that released in 2018 and it's one that I definitely enjoyed. It's very magical. I'm also going to mention Spirited Away. So this movie was made in Japan and it's such a beautiful movie with a good visual style going for it. It's also filled with such beautiful pieces of music. And those are my honorary mentions. I know there are so many more fantasy films, but I've most likely never watched them or they just don't appeal to me personally. So on to number 1. Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yep, I'm putting both Chocolate Factory movies at number 1. I love them both in some ways or others. The original Willy Wonka movie had the best Willy Wonka, he just looked more suited to be the Candy Man. The original movie is definitely more quotable than the remake, especially at the part when Willy Wonka says the famous line being, "You get nothing!" I do however enjoy the remake known as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I was pretty obsessed with the movie when I was 12. What I liked most about it are the Oompa Loompa songs. I love how each song is different for each kid who gets carried away, unlike what the original did. The original Oompa Loompa song is good, but why is it the same song aside from altered lyrics every time? The Oompa Loompa songs were handled way better in the remake. The original movie did have other songs at least. As for which one I think is better, for me, it's hard to choose. I at least think the remake is visually more impressive. Overall, these are good movies and I enjoy them. And that's all for this top 5 list. What are your favorite fantasy films? Let me know in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.